We will welcome now Jeff Gordon, driver of the number 24 DuPont Chevrolet. Jeff currently sits 17th in points. Jeff, again, going into the second half of the season, obviously with the chase looming, going into Richmond, starting the second half of the season. Just talk a little bit about where you are so far this season, going into New Hampshire this weekend.
Yeah, obviously our season hasn't gone the way that we had hoped that it would. We've shown a lot of speed, capable of leading laps, and we just haven't come up with the results. But I feel like we've turned a corner. I mean, I feel like the last few weeks, we've been putting some good results together, getting to the finish, with the car in one piece, and having good runs. So, these next several weeks are obviously crucial for us. This is a great track for us. We had a shot, I feel like, at winning both of these races last year, and we're certainly hoping to redeem ourselves this weekend and this year here at New Hampshire, because it's such a great track for us, and come, thinking back to last year. So, you got here, you got Indianapolis. I mean, we got a bunch of tracks coming up that we're definitely capable of winning at, and we know that we're going to have to win at those in order to get ourselves in the championship chase.
Okay, we'll take questions for Jeff. Please raise your hand. We'll get a wireless mic to you. Please state your name and affiliation. Okay, we'll start with David in the back.
Yeah, Jeff, David Newton, ESPN.com. You've never really been in this situation before, and people have commented how you've handled it over the last month or so, constantly answering the questions, a lot of them negative questions, and how you've dealt with your team. Has there ever been like mental adjustments you've had to make for yourself to really deal with that, or you even think about that, or you just naturally remain positive the whole time?
Well, there's definitely moments, in the heat of the moment, especially when you sense the frustration, and it comes out in things you say on the radio or how you handle some of those situations behind closed doors. But, when it comes to, how to handle it publicly, I just don't think it does the team or myself or anybody any good to handle that negatively. And so whatever, frustrations and challenges that we've been dealt with this year, we've just continued to try to handle them internally. And I would say that there's been very little questioning of anyone. It's really been just, how do we got to turn these great runs into great results? And obviously what makes that even more challenging is that as the weeks go by and you don't get the results, then of course the fans, the media, social media, all those things start to weigh on you heavily. And so, it's nice to have a lot of support out there as well, like our sponsors and our fans. But most importantly, it's what the team does. And this team is one that has gotten through some pretty tough times this year and has stuck together. And like I said, I feel like we've turned a corner, because I certainly hope that the worst is behind us. But I just feel like the last few weeks with things going more our way at the end of these races, that's helped us understand, hey, we just got to keep sticking together, and we're going to get the results. Now, are they going to be enough to get us in the chase? We'll see. If we get in the chase, are they going to be enough to win the championship? We'll see. But, I've been very proud of the way we've handled ourselves through all of it.
All right, we'll go with Kurt next.
Kurt Cavan, Indianapolis Star. Do you expect that when you get to Indianapolis, you will think, this is the 24 car of the past Indianapolis races, or, do you get a new invigoration, do you expect, when you walk into Indianapolis next week?
Most importantly right now, is what we did there last year. I think it's the same tire, so that's always good. But I feel like, we've made some gains this year, and the speed has shown many times this year. Just the results haven't. But I think back of last year at Indianapolis, how good we were, and that's what memory I'm going to have going in there this year is, how can we be that good and improve, on our performance versus our competition this year to put ourselves in that same position. I'd love to get ourselves in that same position we were in last year. We can definitely win that race. I definitely look, that race is high on my list of races that I feel like we can win in these next several weeks.
Questions for Jeff? Any? Okay, we'll take one in the back, then we'll go to David again.
Hi, Jeff. Patrick Sloan with ESPN. As we get closer and closer to the chase, obviously the countdown is on. Is there a greater sense of urgency for you and the 24 team now to change the approach at all, or do you just business as usual?
I mean, urgency to win starts in Daytona in February, So, I mean, we're not doing anything different, than we have all year long. We're just trying to cross our T's and dot our I's, and just do everything right. We know how hard it is to win, and we also know how easy it can be when you do things right and have a fast race car, and so. Is there urgency? Yeah, absolutely. Because we can't just, one win is going to be great, but it's still not going to get us to the chase, I don't believe. So, we know we've got to put a string of races together here to get ourselves in that opportunity to win, more than one race. But I think most people look at us as, while they're 17th or 18th, or wherever we are in the points, no wins, and say, these guys don't have a shot. We look at it as, gosh, we've run so good at this track and this track and this track and this track, capable of winning multiple races this year, and we've got to put all the things together to pull off those victories. But we feel like we've run good enough to do it, and are continuing to run good. And this is a good stretch of races for us to pull it off.
You have a question, David?
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what was your reaction to the AJ thing? The different drivers in here have had different thoughts. I mean, Matt Kenseth said that he doesn't think NASCAR would have done anything if it didn't have a pretty rock solid type of evidence. And Carl Edwards talked about maybe need for a drivers union. All those things go through your head, or any of those?
Well, I mean, I think that we've got to wait to hear more results. I hope we get a full story. So I haven't asked anybody or talked to anybody that has any real details, and I don't even know if they're capable of giving those details. But you certainly like to know what it is that, obviously the test came back, with something positive. So I mean, I have pretty strong faith in that system, that when it happens, that they're right. But what could have caused it? Is it something very minor that could have caused it, or is it somebody made a mistake, or that it definitely should have showed up that way. So I mean, I was shocked. Didn't expect it. I definitely have had a great relationship with AJ and on and off the racetrack, and didn't see that one coming.
Do you have a follow-up, Kurt?
We've both seen all the Brickyard 400s, and it doesn't take anybody to tell us that the trend in attendance is going the wrong direction. How disappointing is that for you?
Very. I think it's such an amazing event to be a part of. I mean, from day one, I never felt like it was the best fan spectator racetrack. If you look at NASCAR tracks, where it's 1.5 miles, and you can see 3/4 of the track from the grandstands, where at Indy you see them flash by down the front straightaway, and if you're sitting in the corner, you see them come in the corner and off the corner. But from a spectacle and just a hype and excitement and energy to be a part of, I think it's a huge event. And still, for the drivers, it still holds just as much prestige today as it ever did. So it is disappointing. And as we've seen many times over the last couple of years, many different factors that weigh into why the fans fill the stands at some tracks and don't at others. I would think that Indianapolis is one of those tracks where a lot of people typically travel to when you have that many grandstands. It's not just everybody from Indiana that's filling it up. It's people traveling from further out, and it's expensive to travel these days. Gas prices and hotel prices and everything else. So, hopefully we see a good crowd this year.
Okay, go ahead with your question, Bob.
Bob Parker, Sporting News. Did I see where you tweeted that you are going back to Rwanda next week, or this week? What's different about this trip than last year's trip?
Well, so last year's trip we went and looked at what PIH, Partners in Health, is doing there with their hospitals, and we had already made a commitment to fund a cancer center there. Now we're actually doing the grand opening and ribbon cutting ceremony of it actually starting. And the start, it took a little while to get, the whole hospital was there, but to get the cancer center, which is the part that we're helping to fund. And it also took a while to get some pretty important people and schedules there. So I'm excited that Paul Farmer, he's kind of the mastermind behind it all, will be there. But we'll also have President Clinton is going to be there, and the president of Rwanda, President Kagame. So it's going. I'm excited. I leave Monday, and it's going to be a very short trip, but it's one that I'm really looking forward to. And getting back there, it's such a beautiful area, that Butaro Hospital in the rural area, and it's really. I mean, I'm able to be a part of something that's groundbreaking in rural East Africa. I mean, this is the first of its kind of any cancer center, and when they look at the projections in that part in a developing country like East Africa, cancer is on the rise there, and can be very curable and treatable in many cases, and it's just not happening. So this is a big step, and I can't wait to get there and be a part of this event.